Good morning, Ashwin's Army. That's the name I've given you guys, by the way. I really couldn't come up with anything else. I know everybody's got like kind of got their catchphrase, tagline, whatever. So I've dubbed you guys Ashwin's Army. So since we've talked last, we had Most Feared drop. On the topic of Most Feared, last night they finally fixed the Beast set. You can now pull Mac and Charles and Pat Pete along with Hopkins and Cam Chancellor. So that's back up and running correctly the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to touch on a couple of things shortly, small things, but I hope it'll help you guys. You guys have poured out the support, whether it's been on Twitter, YouTube comments. It's been awesome. It's been great to hear from you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the guts of this video. I know these videos are like really plain, like I don't have a sweet intro or anything like that, but I hope it still gets the information out that you guys would like to hear from myself and from other people. So today we're going to talk about the filters I use as far as when I'm auction house sniping. Now, you have to be a chameleon when it comes to sniping on the auction house. And what I mean by that is, based on the given day, you have to kind of know your routine and know what you're going through. So for me, like today and yesterday, it has been heavy on Team of the Week and Most Feared. So I've had a kind of rotation I've gotten myself into. I'm actually going to tell you guys step by step what I've been using lately. Like I said, I say chameleon as in you have to be able to adapt to the current bundle, but you can just take what I'm going to tell you and translate it over into a different program or whatever, or a different filter. So lately I have been doing 90 through 94 elite, obviously because that's what all those are elite cards. So 90 through 94, all offense. And I searched that a couple times, like I'll refresh it. Something people don't understand as far as how to refresh a current auction that you're looking at. Say you go to the all offense 90 through 94 and you want to, try to hit that OBJ for really cheap or whatever. If you go to cap value and select all, or team and select all on the left hand the filter column, it will automatically, as long as you double tap A to select all in that menu, it will update the auctions to the newest and latest. You don't have to go over and like change from like all offense to gold back to the 90 through 94. You can just stay on 90 through 94 all offense and just type or hit cap value and select all cards or all cap values, and that will refresh your auctions. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. After I do all offense, I go back to all defense. In the last 2 days, I've done that. I got 24-hour young blood for 40K yesterday. That was up on the Twitter page if you wanna check that out. It was also, I posted it to Reddit. The advantage of doing the 90 through 94 is there are so little 90 through 94s in the game right now that the auction house does not fill up under all offense and all defense. And most of the time you can do all players and it will show all of the newest auctions. Sometimes under some of these filters, like if you do gold, team of the week, all players on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock, 2:30 to be fair, you won't see the newest auctions. It's gonna say like the newest auction is like 20 minutes old. So doing it the 90 through 94 way, and like I said, just for my personal preference, doing the all offense, all defense has been the best way for me to guarantee myself seeing the newest auctions. Something else that I want to touch on as far as the filters go. Everybody would try to tell you their way to snipe. There's guys that we've gone back and forth on YouTube, on Twitter, about how they do it, how I do it. It doesn't matter if you find a way that gets comfortable for you. That's the key. You know, it's like hitting a baseball. Like, there is no right batting stance. If a stance works for you and you can hit the ball, stick with it. You know, don't let like, it's a good example, like Matt Stafford's throwing angles. Like, people bust him up for it, but he still has wound up to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league thus far this year. So, the same with sniping. Do not let yourself get told, oh, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. I'm giving you guys the tips on what has worked for me. The other thing is that I wanted to touch on, well, there's two more topics this morning, so it's going to be a shorter video, is the one key thing about sniping, and it always has been, is when these newer cards come out, it's always a good chance that somebody will price them for the older card's value. And what I mean by that is Bobby Wagner, for instance, 92 Bobby Wagner. Somebody sold him like yesterday for $310K. Why? Because they looked up on Mutthead how much a elite Bobby Wagner went for, and they sold him for the price of the SIG Bobby Wagner. The same thing with Odell that I got for $502K, excuse me. It was somebody looked up the price of an elite Odell and sold him for the price of the Tuesday night draft Odell. And that also happened, there's actually two sales of that Odell that same day where somebody sold him for the price of the base Odell Beckham. So somebody got 92 Odell for $90K. And that's just something that happens every week. It's like clockwork. The other thing is people will pull legend packs and they'll get a collectible and like, oh, it's 10K, 15K or whatever. And they'll pull the player and they don't pay close enough attention and they will sell the player for the price of a collectible. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out on Saturdays because it does happen more often than not. Now, the other thing that I did want to touch on was the team building aspect. Now with Most Feared, and now with some of these Team of the Week cards coming out that being a little bit more bossy, we'll call it, some of these base elites are gone down, way, way down. So, if you wanted to pick up Gurley or Adrian Peterson, I mean, I saw some on the auction house last night that were like 40 or 50 minutes old at like 14K, 13K that we're not selling. So, a lot of these base elites, decent base elites, they're not great cards by any stretch of the imagination, but decent cards are going for around 10K on the auction house right now. So that's definitely something to look into if you're trying to build your team right now. The other thing is, you know, everybody looks at Most Feared and like, oh, it's just BCA reskinned. That's probably true, but it's still a good program. It's still allowing people who are not going crazy and buying crazy bundles to get decent cards. Like I think I picked up Zeitler last night for 29K. You know, it's giving me an opportunity to improve my team without buying packs. So that's something that to keep an eye on going forward with the new programs. Like I said, we got Most Feared. We'll have Thanksgiving here in a few weeks. So, you know, obviously, last year when Thanksgiving came out, BCA cards took a big hit. So some of these BCA cards like Rodgers or Sherman, around Thanksgiving time, we should see them taking a decent hit to where you can add them to your team. If you don't want to pay 200K for Sherman right now, but that's also something to keep in mind. I have gotten out of the bronze and silver market lately. It hasn't seemed with a lot of these releases of these Most Feared BCA silvers. It's kind of tanked the rare silvers in for Team Heroes. So I've kind of stayed out of that lately. I don't know if you guys are doing any good on that. Let me know. I stopped trying because it seemed like it wasn't there wasn't any more profit in I mean there is, but way less than me, trying to stay on top of these elites or even some of these most feared or team of the week golds. I can get Devontae Adams for 5K and sell him for 25. That's worth my time if you can make that happen. But that about sums it up. I'm trying to keep these more short and more concise. So if you guys have anything you want to ask, go ahead and hit me up on Twitter. Mutt Snipes all day. Like I said, we're on episode 8 now. So if there's anything you guys would like to have me address or talk about, go ahead and we'll get that on the next video. Sorry for the delay. I had a friend from out of town in yesterday, so that's why we're doing the video today. So without further ado, you guys have a great Mutt Tuesday and happy hunting.